Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on just a 26-year-old from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, who now resides just down the road from the shed in Teeswater. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada and the USA. He was a staple like yours truly with Guelph AAA program, then mucked around with the Halton Ravens for a season, before heading to those pesky Stratford Culletons and becoming a champion and a legend. And at 6'4" and a mobile D-man, I've been on the ice with them, folks, for fun, because winning is fun, put up 21 points in 21 playoff games. Oh, and was a first-team All-Star and the Defenseman of the Year. He then decided to head for the BCHL and the Penticton V's and promptly won her again. Winners win, folks. And then, after a pit stop with the Salmon Arm Silverbacks, earned his way to the NCAA with Cornell University, Sweet Barn, and spent 2 seasons at the University of Vermont. Just last season, dipped his toe into pro hockey with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits and scored his first pro goal in the playoffs. He is now set to run amok of the coast in his rookie year with those Swamp Rabbits, but he did lose his last game at a heated 4-on-4 battle against yours truly. Welcome to my shed, Joe Leahy.
Thanks for the intro. That's a nice summary of my career so far. Thank you.
Yeah, research team got hot. You're just 26 years old, eh?
Yeah. No, yeah, just try to get my education in while playing hockey, and kind of brings you into your mid-20s most of the time these days, aging out and in junior, and then as well kind of getting that 5th year with COVID really brought me to this age now. And now
Yeah, I guess it is an older age to just be going into your rookie year, eh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like I'd be the oldest you could be technically, I think so.
Right, because you finished junior and you had an extra year of NCAA, but it's probably be about time to make some money then, eh?
Exactly. Finally.
Yeah. So I get in now, we know each other. Last time I saw you, holy moly, the end of practice when I had my nephew and my son at the other end and we're horsing around, and we're out there with O'Reilly, Cal O'Reilly, Ryan O'Reilly, and then Welshie and couple other fellas. I don't know. There's one in the AHL. I don't know what his name was anymore, but, and then Matt Dalton in the pipes. All of a sudden you guys call me down and say, let's play 4-on-4. Holy moly. My ticker hasn't ticked like that in a while.
You still have it though. Really poised with the puck, and
thank you. Thank you. I needed to hear that.
Hammer the puck home.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. I did score a goal or two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to still hang with you fellas, you know? I had to pick my spots when I was going to move about, but but yeah, so another guy from that day that said he's going to come on is the goalie Matt Dalton, who's in South Korea. So the shed's never been to South Korea. That'll be fun.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's cool. I've never come across Dolls before. Pretty cool career he's got, especially being over there so long. Yeah. And just like he, did pretty well for himself over there. So, and great goalie too. Yeah.
Great goalie. And for me, there hasn't been much interest in playing hockey recently with like the old timers around here, but then going out with you guys and playing with like legit hockey players again, and I could like try and I could compete, and it was fun. I actually enjoyed playing hockey again for the first time in a long time.
You think you'll play like in a league this year at all, or?
Gosh, no, I'm a coach now. I'm an under 13 coach.
Are there any good leagues up there in Kincardine or anything?
There's lots of old timers. Well, there's Senior A, Ripley Wolves, which I played when I came back. And we actually had some good runs to we went to the finals, and it was pretty cool when like busloads of fans were going from Ripley to Clinton for hockey games, and we were packing the barn. That was fun playing hockey. Yeah. But Ryan O'Reilly's pretty good at hockey, eh? When we skate with him.
Yeah, no, it's I'm definitely grateful that I can get out there with him from time to time, and you learn something new every time when you're out there with him for sure. Um,
You do.
yeah, like just like little things he does, and he's so focused out there too, which is cool to be around. Like not a lot of sometimes in summer skates guys take it easier. Like he's going for it the
Well,
whole time. So
he's the right type of guy to have around when you're just getting into your pro career, because
yeah,
for me, I never skated with him until I was at the end of my career and I was
yeah,
on my way out and I was just getting my MBA in Cardiff and I knew it was about done. And when I went out and skated with him in the summer, there was no coaches out there telling him what to do. There was nobody pushing him, and he was pushing himself and everybody on the ice with him, like to get better. Like, we're going out here to do our job and let's go out here and get better.
yeah.
And I never had people like that around me in the summer to push me like that, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's he definitely comes with like a workman like attitude, and it's like whatever, middle of July, and he's out there with like a clear plan of what he wants to do that day and like executes. It's pretty cool, and yeah, definitely a lot of learning for me. So it's great.
Well, and that's how I ended up going out with him, was before you were around and the couple other fellows that came out with us. Um I had a feeling he might want someone to skate with, because I remember going out to Godrich by myself. It's how I met him, was I was skating by myself and I thought, this is miserable skating by
Yeah.
myself. I have nothing to do. I have no one to
Oh yeah.
pass to. And so I just reached out to him through Chris Davey, who was running the arena, who's a beauty. And he just said, I'll let him know that you're up for it. And I went out, I helped him one-on-one, just the two of us. And I'm an aspiring coach in minor hockey here, and I want to be the best coach I can be for my under 13 team. And then I go out there and work one-on-one with him for
Yeah.
90 minutes. It was like, well, that was really neat for me. And then the next time he lets my son come out with us, and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he's just a great dude. You know?
No, he is. Yeah, he's definitely like no ego to him really. Just
No.
he's just like treats everyone the same. And yeah, there's can't say enough good things about him for sure.
Yeah, it was like the one guy said to me, "Is like, well, don't think any autographs from him are going to be worth much, because he signs a lot of them." Like that last time we
Yeah.
skated, he left the room right away as soon as the skate was over and signed probably 50 gals twigs, right?
Oh, I felt so bad for him that day. Like they like I don't know, somehow maybe someone didn't even know him, but like, the crowd starts forming and then you just want someone's autograph. And yeah, there's like a line of 50 kids there. I was like, what the heck?
And
That must
he
stink. So
signs everyone every day, because I went out with him about a handful of times there. And every time he was doing that for everybody, and he had time for everybody. He'd stand there in the parking lot and talk to them, ask them
oh
about
yeah.
their everything. Yeah. What a dude. But very kind
Yeah.
of him to let me come out and work with him. And I hope that maybe it was helpful when I was out there. But then once you guys were all coming out there, there wasn't as much need for me to be the passer guy, because you guys all need to practice passing too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
That
But it
was
was
funny.
cool seeing his drills, right? You can pick up a lot of stuff from that, like stuff
Yeah,
you don't really think about putting into a drill, the little details.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anywho, that's how we know each other, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's where I
exactly.
met you, was we walked into the room together and you were sitting there and I'm like, is that a Greenville Swamp Rabbit shirt? Right? And you're gonna play for Lordo.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah. No, that's funny, the connections you have. Like, we're in some crazy ranking Goddard. You have your son in the room, and you played with Lordo / Forum, and then I'm just
You're
the
just
hockey
out
world's
to,
always so small.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then you
yeah,
had to take your standard shed guy selfie. Everybody has to take their shed guy
yeah,
selfie. And then we sent that to Lordo and he wrote
yeah,
back.
exactly.
I sent it. So I had just been to Cardiff with him for Josh Batch's testimonial, which is a cool thing that they do in the UK. After 10 years of playing in the spot, they give you a game, and you get to bring back whoever you want, and you have a weekend. And Lordo and I were there together. And then just a couple weeks later,
Okay.
I'm skating with a swamp rabbit, right?
Yeah, that's how things work. I guess it's kind of funny, but
Yeah. Well, Lordo knew how to recruit dandies. I called them shed guys, and when we were in Cardiff, it was the most fun I ever had playing hockey. They were the biggest beauties I ever played with, and it seems like he's still doing a good job, you know. So
Yeah, no, for sure. No, he's a great coach, and hopefully have another big year this year, and go further in the playoffs and whatnot. So yeah.
So then how did you
Super
left
fun place
school
to
to
play.
go play for him then, eh? So how did that go about?
Yeah. Yeah. So whenever we got eliminated against BU, I want to say, I don't even know the dates, but sometime in the middle of March, we made it to the second round of playoffs in Hockey East. And then basically just had a bunch of coast teams reach out to me. And then I thought Greenville was the best fit for me, just kind of doing some background on the franchises and the coaches and things like that. And I thought Lordo and Greenville would be the best fit for me. So that's kind of how it went down. I thought it'd be cool to play somewhere warm and whatnot, especially coming from Vermont. And I heard like the South Division was great, and Greenville was like kind of a place that I heard was a cool spot to play. So it kind of was a big fit.
Well, I could see why
fit in a lot of different ways. So
I could see why you'd want to
basically
play
did that.
somewhere with the sunshine, right? Like
Yeah.
when I played in Dayton, Ohio, I call it Daytona Beach, Ohio, and it was brutal. It was as bad as you'd think. And then you go play Florida in the semifinals, and you're like, these assholes got to live like this all year round, and we were in Dayton, Ohio. And then you go to Boise, Idaho, and you're like, what in the hell is this? And then you realize some of the spots there are. I went and played the South Carolina team in Columbia, and man, Carolinas are a nice area too.
Really nice. Yeah. No, I loved it as soon as I got down there. I really didn't know I was gonna like just the lifestyle like change and things like that. But it's honestly better when I was pretty old in college, so I was just kind of stepping into like back with my age group a bit in the coast, and really good dudes and lots of fun. You could golf a lot. Like there's a lot of things that were just away from the rink and not even to do with hockey that were really fun.
So has Lordo been a bully to you in the summer? Because he was a bully with me. You know what he made me do? Because I didn't have a six pack. He made me everything I put in my mouth, I was supposed to send him all week long. Everything that went in my mouth, whatever I ate or drank, and I fudged the numbers, and then he'd still just roast me.
No, I haven't gotten that treatment.
Well, then the team got bagels the next season. Everybody else was allowed to eat the bagels except for Wally.
No.
The oldest guy in the team, not allowed to eat bagels.
No,
yeah.
Did it work? Or did you play?
That was the year I hurt my knee. I was too fast. I tried to split the D for no reason because I was too skinny, and I got hurt because I was faster than I usually was, but no, he's good at pushing people. He's good at getting the best out of them. He got the most out of me that there was at the end. And when I went back my last year, when he was so annoying that summer, I was 171 pounds when I went back. And that was about as light as I got in pro. And that was when I was 32. And that was from him pushing me. And I know he would take the time with each of his players and try and push the buttons to get them going,
Yeah. For sure. No, that's definitely true. I saw that firsthand. He's just a very analytical thinker. Kind of what I gleaned from it.
You could say he's a bit of a nerd. You could say he's a bit of a nerd.
I don't know.
You can't say that. I can, because I have a different relationship with him.
No, but yeah, basically, he's just super hard worker, and you can tell he cares a lot about everyone in the room, and then also just about exactly how to get each guy up to their full potential.
Well, I guess we don't really know each other that well. So how Laura and I actually know each other was that I played for him for 2 years. The second year I get hurt. He's just made me one of the captains for the first time in my pro career, which was pretty neat. And then I hurt my knee, and the doctors say my career's over, and I don't know how to help the team. I got my 2 little kids. I just gone from being in school and being busy as hell to being the injured guy with 2 little kids and can't do anything to help the team. And it's my last season of hockey. And Lordo's pretty intense, and he was trying to have some fun pregame speeches to ease the tension. So then I offered up my services to be the pregame speaker. And well, my kid had a bunch of superhero masks, so it turned into me spray painting. Well, the equipment manager spray painting me different colors, and I'd be different superheroes. And I would jump out of closets. I'd come out of showers, dressed as a superhero, wearing my kids' masks, naked, and do the pregame speech as that superhero. That was Lordo's first year as head coach, or second year as head coach. Yeah, I was his pregame speaker.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, started out 9-0.
Team, I guess.
Yeah, you got to do whatever you can to help the team win, right? And pregame speeches are important.
No, they are. They definitely are.
Yeah,
sets the tone.
Yeah, and I was electric. I did the best I could, you know. So yeah. I don't know how his pregame speeches are going to be next season, but they're probably not going to be as good, you know.
No,
and you can let him know that.
I don't know if we could do that stuff. Yeah.
So anyways, are you still in the area? You're still in Teeswater? Are you still in Teeswater?
Yeah. Just so I actually have an apple farm here. So yeah. So I haven't basically we're right near harvest where we have like a little apple orchard here, about 5 acres of Honeycrisp apples. So they're about ready to be picked right now. So that's kind of the next week or so. I'm not really doing a lot of the picking, but kind of just managing from afar, I guess, making sure things go.
So are you skating?
So yeah,
still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm skating. Basically, like I was skating in Stratford a little bit. And then in Goddard with Snook, but Snook's been gone for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So then at that point I've been gone. I'm going back to Waterloo a lot for skates. Just there's a good.
Well, if you got nothing going on this Sunday, I am hosting a skills day in Kincardine, 9 to 12. If you want to come out and show the kids your shit, you know. Yeah. I'm running a skill session this Sunday. 2016s, 2011s. I got like just under 30 kids right now, so hopefully we can get a few more. And if you want to come out, I got ice time.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's sweet. I would love to come.
Okay, well, perfect. Yeah. Hey, Wally Skills just got a new instructor. Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's good. Are you guys gonna be good this year?
Yeah, we're gonna win the whole thing. Yeah.
Are you guys gonna be good this year?
Yeah, we're gonna win all of it.
And did you won it last year too, or what?
Well, I coached my daughter's under-9 house league gals team last year. And here it's 2 ages together, so the teams are totally different each year. It'll be a totally different group of kids than I've coached before. There'll be a few that I've coached before from 2 years ago where we had a squad and went to all Ontario's. And that was they were the tightest group of kids I've seen in some time. So it was really that was actually how I fell in love with coaching, was that season when you see the boys come together. And then last season with my girls, you see them like they see each other around town and they're very happy to see each other, and it makes me feel good as their first time coach. And then you start loving it, and then you're reaching out to Snook to be like, hey, can I come on the ice so I can learn some shit too? You know?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, you may as well do the best you can, right? So anywho, but yeah, we'll be good, I believe. I don't really know what the competition's like.
No, I
so
agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. So for small world stuff, how we know each other. Your old man was a Sugar King, Elmira Sugar King, my hometown.
Yep. Yeah. So he was, did you look up when he played? I think it was like 80,
like 79, 80 or something. Must have been one of the first teams ever.
Yeah, 79, 79, 80. I think his stat. Yeah, she had a pretty good stats. I think. And then he went to play on University of Guelph.
The
He's a
Griffins.
centerman. Uh, yeah, but no, yeah. So he's from Teeswater. That's why we're here, basically.
Well, but that
Uh,
so he obviously came to Elmira to play for the Sure Kings, and what was neat for me as when the
yeah,
research team got hot, I click on that team, and growing up,
yeah.
one of my neighbors was Greg Broughton. I grew up with his son Brad,
Okay,
and then Dave
yeah.
Matthews was on the squad. He was my coach in Elmira and got canned the year we won it. Jeff Snyder was the Elmira Sure King legend. That was like he was the guy that gave me my first junior B tryout at 13 years old. And they were all on your dad's team. So
Okay.
that's some small world stuff. Not that you care, you know? How about Dean Netsky? Do you know who he is from Teeswater, Ontario?
Dean Netsky. Yeah, I do know him. Yeah, he's a carpenter. Do you know him?
Yeah, so in between hockey and the real world, I worked for him as like his guy to help his helper outer guy, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
beauty. And then I played some old
No,
timers with him
he's a
when
good. He's really. So he lives.
he's
Yeah,
in
and
Kincardine,
he
but he's
lives
from
in Kincardine
Teeswater.
now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember. So I think it was like just him and my dad were the only guys to make it out of Teeswater for a while there. I think that's
right.
kind of how I knew him, and I don't know. Yeah, he's like a buddy of my dad's for sure.
And so you also played Guelph AAA like yours truly. I also played Guelph AAA.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you go to Guelph from
yeah. That
Teeswater?
was Waterloo. No, no, no. I'm not from Teeswater at all. I'm kind of a transplant here. I'm from Waterloo. I played Waterloo all the way up. And then in Bantam, I think my basically like my godfather was the coach of
Of
the AAA
Guelph.
team there, and his son was on that team. So that's what made the switch there. It wasn't anything like the team was actually worse than we were in Waterloo, but
Well,
um,
we
it
could
was
be
just
some of the only
kind of a
people to
connect.
switch those two. I switched from Waterloo to Guelph too. I started in Waterloo AAA and I switched to Guelph. For real.
Yeah, there's many. They usually go to Kitchener, Bridge, or I don't know where else. Maybe the GTHL. Did people do that back then?
Well,
Go
not
from
bad. I
Waterloo to
not really, but
GTH.
I'm from Elmira, right? So if you're from
Yeah,
Waterloo, I'm from 10 minutes away, you know?
yeah. You all my other kids would play Waterloo if they played AAA.
We could choose between that or Guelph. So I started out Waterloo and then switched to Guelph.
Oh, you could choose. Okay, I didn't like to choose.
I don't know if it's still the
Okay,
same though. It's
yeah,
probably changed. Also, I always say genes are a thing in the shed here. So your sister was also the captain in Princeton and played 4 years?
yeah, yeah. So my older sister, I think she's 5 years older than me. Yeah, she played, or yeah, she went to Princeton on the hockey team. Um, and that actually really opened the door like to college hockey for myself. Just because
Then you'd probably go. Did you go see it at all when you were a young buck?
yeah, so I was like, I think I was in grade 8 when she went to school. So like I'd come like as a whatever young high school, like it was my dream then because I the closest school was Cornell to like Waterloo. So we always go see your Cornell games. And then we stayed for the men's game after. And I was like, holy shit, this is a sick place to play.
It can
Um,
really inspire you, right? So my story is I watched the Sure Kings win the Sutherland Cup, and one of my favorite players was Rob Collins and Brandon
yeah,
Dietrich, were my two favorites. And the Sure Kings took us to St. Lawrence to watch an NCAA game, and Brandon Dietrich's playing for St.
yeah,
Lawrence. And then we also go watch the Ottawa
okay,
67s in the OHL. And then you see a guy you grew up idolizing playing NCAA, and you see the bands playing, and you see the music and the
yeah,
fans and the
yeah,
student section, and you're like,
yeah.
I'm so into this, you know?
I know, no, it's definitely. I mean, I was kind of a later bloomer, anyways. So like, it made sense, like hockey wise, to go to play, like just have more years to develop basically than the OHL to me. But then you can combine that with like you get a degree, you have way more fun, I feel like, than you would in
not
the
even
OHL.
close
You're
for
not
fun.
that ability.
Oh, it's not even
It's
close.
not even
Those junior
exactly.
guys can say whatever
No,
they want. Nobody had more fun than the NCAA. Nobody.
no, it's like like
But you also worked
like
really
people
hard,
say they
right?
have
Like the
fun.
workouts are insane in NCAA, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
the workouts, and I mean even like just keeping up with your classes and stuff like that was just a grind. But like the Saturday nights were best time ever, obviously. And
Ever.
then
Yeah.
in the springtime when the season was over,
Wild.
springtime, the season
Spring's
was
the
over, and
best.
before, like in September.
Wow. At
It's
Western
like you
Michigan
get
too.
to like,
We get put out
yeah.
first round, so we had lots of time in the spring.
Well, it's like in junior or whatever, you're really close with your buddies or your teammates, but then once you're out, it's kind of done. At college, you're out, and you basically have like 2.5 months to party, which is it can get out of control. But
It totally can. And what I thought the funniest part for me was at Western Michigan, the coaches always pushed this stay. So your first year, they wanted you to stay after freshman year for 2 months before you go home and take extra classes and work out. Well, what actually happens is you move in with the seniors that are just done their college career and are giving her, and you're freshman and you've had a hard year and you're ready to give her. And then it's the off season, and then people are skipping workouts and people are having a time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's just bound to happen. Like,
well, it's a stressful season too, right? Because you care so much, and then when it is over, you're like, okay, so we finally get to be college kids for like a little bit,
Yeah. I mean, I've done a summer session where it's like mandatory, and you're right. Like what happens is it starts off like, okay, Friday, Saturday, and then a Wednesday night gets thrown in there, and then Thursday's all like it just becomes, but no one's working. Everyone's just kind of taking a token class, and
a token class, and all else you have to get done in the day is a workout, and that's it. That's
or like a workout and a skate, and then you're done by 11. So it's it's definitely a recipe for disaster. But you got to be disciplined if you want to get anything out of it. Which
and you do the workouts were
you're,
nuts.
2021 or whatever.
You did have an interesting college career though, eh? Because when I'm jumping all over the place, but that all that COVID stuff there, you looked like you were having a hell of a start to a season. You had 7 points in 10 games. I think it's your second year of college. And then you don't even play again for Cornell, right?
Yeah, so it was really tough. So that year I had just come off hip surgery. And I started the year late, and we were the number one team in the country for the whole first half. And so I didn't even get in a game. We didn't lose, so they would never put me in. They didn't put me in. I couldn't even be mad at it either. We were dummying the whole league. And then I don't know if someone got hurt. We kind of went on. We lost 2 games the entire year, that COVID year. I think we lost one of those games, and they put me in, and I played the rest of the year until those 10 games or whatever. And then the COVID thing was just like Tuesday we're playing the playoffs on Friday. Wednesday it was like, oh, we may need to postpone the game. There's this virus going around. We're home in Canada on Saturday. Like it was that quick where it was like bang, bang, bang. Yeah. And
it was interesting because like I was in the real world and I got sent remote, and like that's how I started all this. Was I ended up working from my shed and did some brainstorming and came up with this. And anyways, like it changed everybody's life, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't have got the whole college experience throughout that time too, right? Like so you
Oh
were
yeah.
back in
So
Canada and everything, so you missed out on some good years there.
oh yeah. So I missed like whatever March 2020 on. We were all home, and then we were brought back to school that 2020 fall, but it was all like remote, like learning in our houses on campus or off
and, and that's not
housing.
college.
Oh, it was the absolute worst. No, and then our season got canceled just for the Ivy League. Around American Thanksgiving, they told us we weren't going to play, and then there was a kind of probably 5 or 6 of us who fast tracked our degrees to graduate in 3 years, and then we graduated and then transferred
Right. And
because you can't
well,
do grad school.
at the same school you've been at or
Yeah,
something.
only for the Ivy League. It was just this weird rule. You had to slow down your degree to play your 5th year. Like you had to do you could only do undergrad at Ivy League schools. Just this weird rule. So
So
basically, if you
Cornell
want to
is
play
an
like
Ivy League school, so you got to be a smart cookie then, huh?
I
What'd you
don't
take
know
there?
about that. I took agricultural science.
So you're you're
Which is
you're a farmer.
yeah, exactly.
So
Like
what
it's like just plant science but applied, essentially.
and like what all are you into then? Just the Honeycrisp apples, or are you dabbling more stuff?
Yeah, just that.
Just apples.
I'm dabbling, but like in terms of like, yeah, for all intents and purposes, it would be just apples that I'm like doing. And I'm not a farmer. My dad's not a farmer. Like none of us are farmers. It's just my this farm my grandfather bought. He was the town doctor in Teeswater, and then my dad bought it from his siblings. And then right before I went to Cornell, I was supposed to be doing economics. My first semester I did economics, and I was like, sucks. And so I didn't
Economics
know
does
Cornell had this
suck.
like apparently like one of the best agricultural. Yeah, exactly. Cornell had one of the best ag site programs, and a couple of my buddies in the team were in it. So they're like, "Come do it with this with us." They're both farmers from one from Manitoba, one from somewhere else in Ontario. So they were like, "Come do this, like we'll help you," you know.
Well,
And
that's
it was
cool.
yeah, and it's fun because like you're learning stuff that you can actually apply rather than like
Yeah. Then just going to school to go to
being
school.
super boring.
Yeah.
I find.
Yep. I do understand.
Yeah, which but that's what I was doing.
But did you get so I don't know if they still do these. When you were trying to go NCAA, I
Yeah,
remember studying for the SATs and then having to go somewhere in the city to write SATs. Did you have to do that?
yeah, yeah. They're still doing it. I think they might have just gotten rid of it just because of COVID,
That's
and
what
then
I
they just
thought. I had
stopped
heard
it.
a rumor about that, but
But
I remember it depended what schools you could go to, what you scored on that. And it was basically saying you're this smart, right?
yeah, no, that's yeah. My story with the SATs, it's the worst day of your life. Like if you're trapped in this room for 6 hours. You just gotta. It's basically how fast you can do things, not how smart you are. I find it was super just you know you're always under the gun for time anyways, but I did the best. My brother is a golfer, and he went uh, down south for on a scholarship as well for golf, and he was 2 years older, so when he was writing his SATs was like going into grade 12, and I was going into grade 10, and that was the earliest you could write them. We did a crash course together, and
You
like
did
at that
you
time I
beat
was way
him?
too young to be writing it, but we did this crash course. No, well, I probably did beat him, but that I had so I wrote it. I got a pretty decent score. Um, they wanted Cornell kept making me write it again, like after I was committed. Basically, like if you get, it's all an index. So if your kids, you want your kids to do the best you can, so you get really dumb guys in. like, you know what I mean? So you have like different
Yeah.
tiers of academics, but it has to average a thing. Anyways,
They have to
so
have
they kept
they
making me
have to
write it.
have a
I would do
smart
worse
enough
and
team. So they want everybody to be as smart as they possibly
yeah.
can be so they can get some other
So you
players.
can get a
Yeah.
dumb
Yeah.
guy who's a stud or so. They kept making me write it over and over. I wrote it like 4 times. I got worse every time I did it. And this was like after high school. I had you know, when I was going into grade 10 was the best time I did it, just because this crash course was like little tricks, and it wasn't to do with how smart you are. It's just this little game you have to
It's a
play.
game.
I
Yeah.
found, but
I remember
anyways,
taking I remember taking
yeah, I
something
did.
before, and I did it one time, and then Western Michigan was like, well, that's good enough for us. And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I think Cornell asked me what I got, and they were like, nah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Cornell took Matt Molson. So when we were in the scoring race in
That's
junior
funny.
B, the two of us were in it together.
Yeah,
And Cornell took him. And then I did go to Cornell and play Cornell. And that is a sweet barn, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. No, that's yeah. Molson's like a cult player for Cornell. But no, that yeah, that line of ranks, like I think it's like ranked just college sports experiences is like very highly ranked throughout the whole NCAA and each sport. Um, it it was definitely yeah, definitely super cool to be like, you know, a Cornell hockey player even on campus. Everyone treated you like really, you know, I guess differently maybe, and you were. It was weird coming in from, I don't know. It's just a different. You felt like a football player at a big school or something
I,
sometimes
I,
with the amount of attention the
that's
hockey
pretty
team
cool
got.
though. But with
Yeah,
some schools, the hockey team's the team. And then some
right.
schools, they're not really. Like at
Yeah.
Western Michigan, they are now kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
like football and basketball were a thing too. When I was there, the
Right.
basketball team makes the NCAA tournament, and it's, you know, it's kind of a competitive thing between the sports, really.
Yeah. No, and that's what helped us too. Like our football and basketball team were no good. So, um, and it's like Ivy League football. Like it's not a. It's like I don't. It's D1, but it's like the lowest level you can be. So they're really, and yeah, I guess there's just a lot of tradition. Like kids
Well,
wanted to go to
when
games.
I played against them, so I played against them out of conference a bunch of times, and it's because the coach there used to coach at Western Michigan, Mike Schaefer, the guy that's coached there for like 2 decades now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
he went to Cornell, he was at Western Michigan for 5 years, and our coaches knew
Yeah.
him, and that's why they'd always set up games against each other. And when I played Cornell, man, they were a squad. They had Ryan Vesey, who ended up in like he was a little bugger that could just play.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had that gigantic defenseman Murray that played in the show for San Jose that
Douglas Murray. Yeah.
would just kill people. Yeah, in college. And I'm sorry if I'm keeping you up. I know farmers get up early, you know. I'm sorry this is late. I had to wait till the kids go to bed, you know.
Oh, no, I understand. Oh, this is fun.
But it is fun, right? And
Yeah.
Cornell though, that's a cool school. And that's one of
Yeah.
the schools that when they start looking at you, you're like, well, but the other thing they have, right? Ivy League is they don't have full scholarships. Like it's all
Yeah. It's all
what
financial aid.
financial aid. And it isn't
Yeah.
it to do with what your parents make is how much they give you or something? Or is it to do with hockey?
Yeah. It's the whole algorithm of like what your parents make, and then like their whole financial background, and then like how many kids you have. Like it's this whole. You have to submit like so many like tax stuff, and then they spit out a number, and that's what you get.
That's wild. So you did
Yeah.
graduate from Cornell. So poster pictures,
Yeah.
who's the gal with you in the poster pic there? You're both graduation day.
That's yeah, that's my wife now. We just got married about a month and a half ago.
Really? Congratulations. You just got married.
Thank you. Yeah.
Where'd you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah. at the farm here.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Good shindig or what?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like 240 people or something like that.
Dance floor? Dance floor get hot?
Hell yeah.
Love that shit.
Yeah.
I excel
nice
at celebrating
at
love.
our farm. Like, you can make it as late as possible. And
I do. When I get around a dance floor, yeah. I do the best I can every wedding I hit. Well, so that would have been a good shindig out on a farm with 240 people.
Yeah. No, it was fun. And lots of my buddies and her friends, and then
so that's the next poster picture is your wedding party.
Family. It was awesome.
Your wedding party then, is that mainly Teeswater area fellows, Waterloo fellows, or hockey fellows?
Wait, what picture are you talking about?
I think it's your wedding party, all the dudes, isn't it? It's gotta be.
Oh, like is it a lineup of people?
There's like yeah, that's gotta be the guys.
Yeah.
So are those hockey guys? Who are they?
My two, so there's two hockey guys in there. Two of my two brothers who are hockey guys. My brother-in-law, who's not a hockey guy, and then so the two hockey guys, Jared Nash, he played with me at Stratford. I don't know if you know that name, probably not. He played then he played out in Penticton with me, and then he went to Alaska Anchorage. He's done now. He's in teachers college. And then my buddy Nate McDonald, he was a goalie at Cornell with me in my year. So
well, obviously, I just figured you just got married. Those guys probably mean quite a bit to you, right? At this stage of your life, and right, but just thinking out loud. That's why I was wondering who they were. You know. Anyways, so that the poster pics where you're with one of the a fella beside you, and then there's one you standing there. That's the apple orchard then behind you. That you guys had just built it or what?
Yeah, that's me and my brother. That was a picture from a couple of years ago with one of the new plantings. So that those trees are a little bigger now, but yeah, that's me and my brother there with we had just finished putting up the trellis or whatever after a plant. So cool pic there.
Yeah, no, and looks like you get your hands dirty in the summer then, eh, when you're home.
Yeah.
So then couple of your pictures, Cornell number 4, and then there's another of one of you taking a snapshot, some heavy flex on her. You're number 4 again there. So what do you wear number 4 on purpose or what?
I like 4, like, you know, whatever, like, or it's cool. It's a cool D-man number. But I was 5 in Vermont, and then I was 3 in Greenville. I don't know. Just keep it a low number, you know.
Just keep it a D-man's number. You're just being a D-man.
Well, yeah. I mean, I prefer 4, but it, you know, sometimes it's not available. So it's a popular number among D-man.
But I've skated with you. You seem to me, because I always say old school fellas playing in the new school game will run amok of those new school boys when it comes to playoff time and when the going gets tough. And I think you're that type of player from skating with you.
Yeah.
And then when you're telling me that you're wearing a number because you want to be like a D-man's number, that's old school. I think I'm right again. But no, I was quite when you were coming out and you were as big as you were in the locker room. I wasn't expecting you to be able to skate like you can. I was you can boogie for a big fella.
Yeah, no, I've always been like, I actually kind of grew late. And so to keep up when I was smaller, I always had to work on my skating, and then I grew and I kind of just kept it going. But yeah, a lot of people say that. But it's been a big asset. A lot of, like, teams just like big D and they can skate. If you can just do that, you can defend well. So it's been a good asset.
And that's definitely what I picture you as a professional hockey player. And I think there's a lot of places you can go in your career. And it's interesting that you're 26 and this is your rookie season, because I think you can play for some time here.
Yeah.
And I may know some people around the world now.
That'd be nice.
Just so you know. Now that I started this, I know a lot more people than I used to.
Yeah, for sure. You'd have such a big network now, just with talking to different people and connecting the dots.
Yeah, it is. It does connect the dots, and it's fun, right?
Yeah.
Like you said. And I don't know why I wouldn't do it whenever I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do I got? Poster pick. You won the Cherrey Cup with the Stratford Colletons. Small world. I won 2 Cherrey Cups. One of them was against Stratford in the finals, and that's a sweet barn, isn't it? The William Allman Arena, isn't it called?
Yeah, no, it is. The William Allman Arena. Yeah, that's a really nice barn, and just like the boards don't move, the glass doesn't move. It's like you're boxed in.
If you're playing in that barn, you're mucking it up.
Yeah.
There ain't no hiding in there.
There's one good thing about it. I was at that point. No, and at that point in my career, I was playing a lot of power play. So when you take a one-timer from the blue line, it's basically in the hash marks in the regular ring. So you score a lot of goals. Just you can beat the goalie clean from the blue line. It's a matchbox.
Oh, and I actually growing up as a young bugger, back when Elmira was in those playoff runs, Stratford was always the other team, you know. And it was a hell of a rivalry. It's too bad they're not the Colletons anymore. Now they're like the Warriors or something. But so you guys did win the Cherrey Cup, but how did it go in the Sutherland Cup?
We lost to London in 7 or 6, I want to say. Just guys weren't. I think guys wanted they were happy with the Cherrey Cup. I think honestly,
they didn't have the mentality that it wasn't done because
it was actually kind of sad because we honestly would have. It was those Caledonia teams. Did you ever hear about those teams that had like 18, 20-year-olds?
And they were paying them, right?
They had, so that was the last year of that. And then they made this rule that you can only have 9 or 10. But that was the last year. So we probably would have lost anyways. They had 15 overage OHL guys. And we were.
Oh, so it was 4 teams and it's 2 series of best of 7s to go for it. Because when I played, it was the winner of each league and you played a round robin, home and home, the 3 teams. And then the top 2 played a best of 7. And for us, it was interesting because Elmira had only really won the Cherrey Cup and then they won the Sutherland Cup. And then we did it my second year. And then my third year when I'm the guy and it's like my team, we lost in game 7 of the Sutherland Cup and we did win the Cherrey Cup, but nobody on that team considers it a championship. We don't have a group chat. We don't all still talk, but the team that won the Sutherland Cup the year before, we all still have a group chat. We're getting invited back to Elmira during the season this year to all get recognized as a team. And I mean, losing that game 7 that next year, it was brutal. It was as tough as it gets.
Yeah, no, I think that's the same as us. I feel like a lot of guys think it was a championship. I don't know. The Cherrey Cup is a big, yeah, you're probably right. You need to win the Sutherland Cup for it to be legitimate.
But it's not, I'm not saying that's the case because you did win your league. You did win your championship. It's that Cherrey Cup is 10 teams and you won your league. It's like in Denmark, there's only 10 teams and I always say I won the championship, crossover. Right? Yeah. The winners play the winners, but
it's a true.
I guess it's the same when you went to the BCHL though, right? Like the BCHL, you won that, it looks like, and then don't you go to an RBC?
Yeah, you actually you had to go to the Western Canada Cup, which was an intermediate tournament where you play like the Western leagues, and then 2 teams from there would go to the RBC. But that is more considered, in my mind, like a true championship, because it's just some tournament at the end that you got to play in Ontario, where there's like no one. Ours was in Cobourg, Ontario. There was no one in the stands. It was like May 2-4 weekend, and like it was wives and girlfriends, and
So, but when you won the BCHL, that was like winning it, right?
Yeah, I felt like that. Like, and even our coach, I mean, they're BC's on their own now. I mean, they're out of Hockey Canada, so they're not even in the RBC anymore, the BC Hockey League. And for that reason, because it felt like you were like coming down a level at the RBC in some respect. Obviously, like the AJ was still kind of on par at that time I was there, but like the Ontario teams, Cobourg actually won it. They were out in like the second round of the OJ, and they hosted
and
they somehow won it. Like we outshot them like 50-12 in the semifinals, and they beat us 2-1. Like and then they did the same thing to Brooks in the finals, and Brooks had like Cale Makar and like a bunch of
really,
but that was Cale Makar's year, and he was he was insane. Yeah, that guy. He's still I played Adam Fox in college. Obviously a bunch of other NHLers, but he's by far, even at that league, like it was crazy how good he was.
Wow, like I always thought as a winger, like my only job was stopping D-man. And then when a puck would go out to a guy that could, like, not many of them did it back in old school hockey, where they'd fake shots and walk the line and do stuff. Because back in the day, if you got it on the point, you just kind of shot it back in. And when you'd get out there against a high-end offensive defenseman that started bobbing and weaving, and you're the winger that's going out and he's breaking your ankles, and you look like the biggest idiot ever.
Yeah.
That guy does that to people in the NHL all the time. It's wild.
He was doing that on steroids all over the ice. Like, you get the puck in the neutral zone, like basically just kind of suck a guy in, fake D-to-D in the neutral zone, and then just beat everyone off the ice along the wall. Like it was the raw skill he had, just like the ability to just skate faster than everyone, and then his hands and his head fakes. Like it was I haven't seen something like it like since then.
You've been on some pretty good, you've been on the ice with some good players in your time, eh? And you're just a young buck.
Yeah, exactly. No, he was I remember him coming down on me in OT in the Western Canada Cup, and kind of a broken 3-on-2, but he had the puck on my side. I was like, Jesus, like this is gonna be. Anyways, he just like ripped it off my ankle, thankfully. But anyways,
yeah, it's interesting when you play hockey with some people that they get it on the wing on a 3-on-2, and not much is going to happen. Where then you get a 3-on-2 and someone else has the puck, and you're like, oh dear.
some young guy was actually asking me that the other day, something about like specific moves, like what do I find hard to defend or something. I was like, if you're good, it's hard to defend. If you're not, it's it's pretty cut and dry. Like if you're a good player, I know if you are or not, and then I got to respect certain things. If you're bad, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what you do. Like anyways,
well, it's true though. It's like, but it's also when you're playing against guys and you know what they can do. And but for me, it's like on a 3-on-2, if you can create space, and then if you can get to the middle of the ice is when shit gets confusing for defensemen, right? Because they don't know which guy to step up and which guy to keep going. I always tried to let a guy go through, and then kind of, if I could get to the middle, then I would have options. Yeah. Anywho, I don't know how we get. This is just us talking hockey now, isn't it? Jeepers.
Yeah.
It's like when
Yeah.
the skates would be over and we'd just sit there and talk for a half hour, and Colby, my son, would be like, Dad,
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
we leaving yet?
Yeah.
And I was like, sorry, buddy, I haven't been in a locker room in a while. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but like that's the thing is what this is and what we're doing is when I was out at the game, and I was 32, I guess, when I came back. And then I had a tough go there for a while, adjusting and whatnot, because I didn't have locker rooms anymore. I didn't have
Yeah.
like-minded guys around in a locker room. And like how like that Snook let me come out and help him out, and that he appreciated me helping him out, and then lets my son and his buddies have some memories. It's pretty neat that I'm back in the game, and it's all because of these kids I've coached that really got me right into it. And then talking in my shed,
Yeah. Yeah.
fun stuff.
No. Yeah, for sure.
It was fun skating with you guys though,
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
anywho, so you guys grew up in Waterloo to what age? Are you frozen?
There's still like my family's still there. Can you see now?
No, you're
My
you're fighting it. Yeah, you're there. You are. Okay, actually, that's a silly question
okay.
because I want to ask more about genes. When the research team gets hot, it says that
Yeah.
you have some great uncles that are players and people, and I pulled up one dude, and I'm like, sometimes this website's wrong when the research team gets hot, and I'm like, I'm not sure if like this is true. And then I click on the name Ray Bauer, and that fella looks just like you. You guys look
Yeah.
alike.
Yeah, I think that's my grandpa.
That's your yeah. Well, it's
That's my
so they look the same, and he played for Team Canada. In
yeah. Yeah.
quite the family heritage you guys have in the game of hockey, huh?
Yeah. So
Do you want to
I think
explain it, or do you want me
Bobby.
to?
I can explain it. It's just it's my mom's side of the family who so her dad played, yeah, like you said, for Team Canada, I think, and then her great uncle or her uncle Bobby Bauer played for the Boston Bruins on that Kraut line with I don't remember the names, but the other names. And then the other uncle thought he was a Catholic priest who basically I think he founded I don't want to be quoted wrong, but I think it's like the Canadian national team. I don't know if he founded it or he was like part of the beginning first Olympics with the team. And then I think he's big in like Calgary and things like that. He was out there for a while. Yeah, my mom actually played in the '84 Olympics for field hockey, so it kind of passed through her. I don't know
They
if like
say
any of us.
athletes
Yeah.
are athletes, and athletes make
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah.
That's yeah, the David Bauer fella says he's in the IIHF Hall of Fame as a builder,
Yeah.
and has Olympic bronze, and it said he was the GM of Team Canada for like 20 years. Wild stuff.
Yeah. 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 It's pretty crazy.
But the Bauer name around Waterloo is it's a thing.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. It's they've been there. They were like, I think they helped found the Kitchener, maybe, I think, back in the day. The German settlement. So they were my mom's family. My mom's never left Kitchener or KW, I guess, or whatever. And she grew up there. A bunch of cousins there and things.
Well, man, the history you got, your family's got in hockey, it's pretty neat that then you are diving into pro here and playing NCAA. Your sister's a captain in NCAA, and I always say genes are a thing, folks. I don't think I'm wrong again, yeah. But so speaking of genes are a thing, there's a team you were on. I think it's Penticton. So you had Mike Sillinger's kid on the team. or
Yeah.
whatever Cylinder's first name was. Mike Keane, I played against in the AHL when he was with Manitoba at the end of his career, a Stanley Cup champion. You played with his kid,
Yeah.
and you played with Tony Amonte's kid.
Yeah. And there's more than that too. There was Dixon Ford kid. Seriously, it was like a NHL kid team. So there was Dixon Ward. You know who that is?
I've heard that name.
So he played probably like 6 or 7 years. His kid was on the team. Do you remember Stu Barnes?
Yeah, oh sure do. Buffalo Sabre number 41. Hell of a player. He liked to muck it up.
Yeah, his kid was on the team. Yeah.
Really?
Jack Johnson's brother was on the team. Yeah.
See, when I look when the research team gets hot and I just cruise through the last names to see if anything sticks out, I saw the 3 I saw, but Barnes and the other one there, Ward, like I wouldn't have looked at that. But I tell you, genes are a thing, folks.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Right?
Oh, that team is weirdly. I think a lot of NHLers bring their kids there for some reason. Like Niedermeyer's were there. Richter's kid was there. The Broder's kids were there. It's like a weird, I don't know. I think it's just because it's a nice place to play, and the coach kind of.
I played against Rob Niedermeyer. He was in Switzerland in Lugano, and we went there and played a game. I'm in the second league in Germany, and we go and play Lugano. Not sure what the plan is there. And we got absolutely throttled. And it was actually like the other team I'd played with in Bietigheim that we were like the Yankees of the second league. Like we wouldn't have done too bad against them. But like the team I was on then, we had no budget. We go play Lugano and got absolutely throttled. And Rob Niedermeyer and these other guys were just toying with us. And I tell you, it's a tough day at the office when people are toying with you playing hockey. Because I don't like that. Yeah. But anyways, I got some more questions. But yeah, there's a lot of Suns on that team. Is that the team you win it with then? You win it your first year in the BCHL with Penticton?
I think we won it the year before.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
I don't know which year they were on, but the year. So it's got to be a bit of a change for you, and you probably start figuring out what your role is going to be in pro hockey and whatever maybe. But you go from 21 points and 21 playoff games with Stratford. I'm curious about this because you're the D-man of the year of the league. Back when I played junior B, you got scholarships from junior B. My team in Elmira had 7 scholarships, NCAA Division I. And then now nobody gets scholarships from there, which is depressing. But now you have to leave to go elsewhere. So you go from a point a game, D-man of the year, and then in the next season, you play 21 playoff games and only have 2 apples. So that means you're playing shutdown roll, penalty kill, and no power play.
Correct.
You have to play on power plays to score points.
Yeah, no, literally. Especially the man. I mean, yeah, like that whole year, I wouldn't have even sniffed the power play, I don't think. Which I think ultimately was good for my game, because part of my like identity up to that point was like a power play guy, like big one timer, all that. But as I move forward, like I don't think I would have even.
You figured out exactly what your role is in hockey, in pro hockey and the higher levels.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know, like
there's Cale McCarr's out there, right? And you get out there with some of those guys, and you're like, well, I know what I'm good at, and I'm telling you, I wouldn't want to play against you in a hockey game. You're big, you're strong, you're fast, and you got skill too. It's but like I get it, but I thought you'd still be doing it in junior because I mean I skated with you. I would have thought you'd still be on the power play. I don't know how good the BCHL is though.
Probably should have been, but it was, there's other factors
and if they want to play you more on the penalty kill, they want to play you harder minutes against the top lines.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it probably didn't matter anyways. Like, I wouldn't be a power play guy in pro, so what does it matter? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
like, and especially I feel like I don't, I wouldn't want to. It's not that I wouldn't want to be a power play guy in pro, but there's a lot of pressure to produce, and being, I think, a defender, I think a lot easier, not easier, but you can kind of show your worth more in a kind of more stable way than living by second apples on the peeper. If you've got to be quarterbacking a power play, it's like more, it's your production. So I don't know. And obviously with just the way I play,
Well,
it's a lot more.
you can focus on like the the best parts of your game, and for me, it's like when I was growing up, I didn't realize all the different roles it takes to win and all
For
the
sure.
different people you need. And you can't
Yeah.
just have all scorers. And like I grew up thinking, well, I'm doing
Yeah.
good. I'm scoring. I'm doing really good. But then you're not going places and doing things, and you're like, well, but then it's like, well, each team can only have like one short scoring right winger, like
Yeah.
you can't have many of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. No,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Well, and then whatever you do, you do. That's one thing someone told me when I was going pro was like when you show up and a guy shows up at pro, whether it's the NCAA guy, the OHL guy, when they'd show up, they'd be like, "So what do you do?" Right? Like, what do you do? And each player has a different thing they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It takes all pieces, I guess, to
Wow. And
be
I
on a good.
bet, and you're a high end at what you do. And I don't think you'll be in the coast that long, just to let you know. But then I
Yeah,
don't know how it works
hopefully.
now with all these young puppies, these days. There's,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so why do you play for the Halton Ravens when you're playing Guelph AAA that Bantamere? How do you end up in Halton?
Honestly, don't even. It was either that or midget AAA, I think, that year. And I
Okay.
just I don't know. It was honestly inconsequential because I broke my collarbone in like middle of November and I was done for the year. So
Oh,
it
really?
didn't really make it a difference.
So that
I
that
think the
that
idea
leagues
was
came
that
up a couple
we were
times in the
practicing every
shed.
day on that team. Like,
You practice every
yeah,
day.
the league's a crazy league. Yeah, we
Uh,
practiced every day, and it was like, uh, yeah, open ice like from 3 to 6, and we practiced at like, I don't know, like 4 to 5, so you could just wheel around out there forever, and that was kind of the idea, I think, going into it. Um, but I think I'm one in terms of like D1 players, I think, from that league, which is kind of funny. Like, I still get tagged and stuff, like on Instagram. Like,
oh,
where are they now?
where are they now? Because you got out of that league, because that league
Yeah.
has come up, and it's actually it's been British guys that were
Oh,
trying to get to Canada to play junior, and that was the league that they would go to. Because I didn't know what it was growing up in Elmira.
yeah.
Um,
It's not Canada, so you can have anyone in there.
hmm,
There'd be a team. It was a team full of like immigrants from Shelburne. It was the weirdest thing.
that is weird.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah.
and then how do they make money bringing all those people from all over the place? But hey, so then you leave there to go to the Stratford Colletons.
Yeah.
And Stratford, you know what that is, and it's not far from home. And how'd you pick Stratford?
I actually was. I started the year when I was 17 in Wellington.
Oh,
Um,
2 games played. Got that down. You Still there? Holy moly. And we're back. Still shaky internet, but I'm not leaving the shed, you know? Right? So you started in the Wellington Dukes.
Yeah. And then I was actually traded to Stratford, I guess. I don't know how that worked. But it was the best thing that happened for my career at that point. Yeah, I don't know what happened in Wellington. I was young, and I think they brought in some older D-man at the time. I was like 17, and they said, "Go play here. You'll play more." And then from there, really, my career definitely I could have just been done, but I really took off from there. So
Well,
Stratford was huge for my development.
for sure. And like those junior leagues, if you get put in the wrong spots where they have all these studs ahead of you, and like there's no room for you, and there's nowhere for you to be in the lineup. And we're back, folks. Shaky internet in the shed still happening. Apparently they want me to be outdoors in the summer, which makes sense, right? Okay. I don't know what we were talking about. Do you remember? No clue.
I honestly don't know. Like
Yeah.
somewhere in junior hockey, whatever.
Yeah, we should maybe move on, right? Nobody gives a shit about junior hockey anymore, anyways, do they? Um, so you did get traded though when you went out to the BCHL. So you went to the Penticton, win it
Yeah.
all, and then the next season you get traded to the Salmon Arm Silverbacks.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, basically
Fight through it. You're a gamer. I know you are. I know you're gonna fight through it. You're tired, but you're a gamer.
no,
I got you.
no, sorry about that. I shouldn't be yawning. But
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so after that year, I we touched on it earlier. I basically just wanted to play more power play and different things like that. So I asked for a trade pretty early on in the year, kind of just right outside of camp, because I kind of knew it was going to be the same thing, but it was my 20-year-old year. So I was like, I might as well keep improving my power play skills. Like I already won in this league. Like I don't need to.
So when do you get recruited by Cornell? When does that happen?
Start of basically in between Stratford and my first year in Penticton. They had come to see me in Stratford, and then they committed me like in preseason of that my first BCHL year.
Yeah.
So basically, I think it was just like
you already knew you were going to college and you wanted to better yourself and do more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So I was committed, and I just basically didn't want to do it all over again, just play the same role, which was probably going to happen. We had like a young defenseman who actually got drafted pretty high that year, so it was like his kind of job to lose in the power play.
For sure.
But that's what they got to do. Like he was probably better than me on the power play too.
Well, and it's the same as you like in Halton, right? It's when they get a puppy like that they know can really go places. They should, if they're smart, try and really promote him and make him the biggest stud they can make him, so that then people say good things about their organization. And then there's some organizations that don't get that, and
it's a business, and it's like these, like a lot of these guys were first round picks to the Dub who like didn't go to the Dub, they went to BCHL to play for Penticton, so they were young guys, and if you wanted to get more of those first round picks, like you got to play these young guys, and that whole thing. So I totally, and I just didn't want to have an effect. Kind of.
So the Salmon Arm Silverbacks, where is that? Is that out west BC?
That's just like 2 hours north of Penticton, Okanagan Valley. So it's like it's in the Shuswaps technically, which is the region up there, Shuswap Lake.
So when you're in Stratford and this is just always curious to me because like I have a son growing up in hockey,
Yeah.
and I'd rather him live around here. You play for Stratford. Who
Yeah.
instructs you to go to the BCHL?
Basically everyone. So I had an advisor at that point, but not even him really. Just even like the college coaches who I talked to in junior B were like, "We want to see you play at a higher level." They didn't. No one forced me to go to BC, but it was either that or the USHL at the time, and I decided to go to BC League
Yeah.
just
So
because.
it is a thing now because when I
Oh,
played in
it's
junior
yeah.
B, like you could get scholarships out of that league,
No.
and guys from this area were getting scholarships out of this league, and now they all have to leave. You know?
But,
And we're right back.
um, yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So basically, a lot of teams will sniff around junior B players, like, and they'll talk to them and stuff nowadays. You could even get committed in junior B, but they'll still make you go play somewhere else, like either USHL or BC before you come to the school.
And that is depressing as a dad around here, you
Yeah.
know? When you grow up around here and raise a kid from here and yeah, and then that sucks. But there was a year, I guess, where they decided that junior B was officially a league below tier 2 junior A, where it used to be
Yeah.
the same. So
Yeah.
now they can get a release without anything, where before, like, you couldn't just leave, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So after my year in Stratford, I was like technically like a free agent for for all the junior A teams. I think I got around like 30 calls from
Oh, and those guys are competitive and they're gonna want
yeah,
to win.
all the leagues, like not even just BC, like BCAJ, uh OJ's, the Ottawa CC League, the USHL, because it's great because like junior B tech, like the go just technically
So how do you
junior.
decide where to go? How do you decide
Penticton
Penticton?
Penticton was like the best team.
Mm-hmm. And then you
Uh,
won.
yeah. So
Right. And winning's fun.
yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing it for.
Right. So, anyways, then you do show up in Cornell. What's your
Yeah.
favorite night of college?
Favorite night of college.
Can be hockey, it can be off ice, because at Western Michigan, most of us respond with off ice is the answer.
Best night
We
of
didn't win
college.
that many games on the ice, so that's what we cling to.
Um, Best night of college would probably be when we clinched the Ivy League championship my freshman year.
So you won
Uh,
that too.
yeah, we won the Ivy League there. Yeah, just like a huge party scene with
I can't imagine.
yeah the trophy, and like that's a big deal for our school too. Just like the program, our coaches were, super, like, because that was probably the first time, like with coming into a storied franchise, like, or I guess school like Cornell, like the program, you wanted to be kind of part of like the success. So it was a kind
Yeah.
of just a big weight off the shoulders to, I played in this game and I won it. So it's like, I was not a huge contributor sure about that as a freshman, but it's just being like,
It takes everybody to win.
yeah,
It takes the freshmen being able to pull their weight,
yeah,
or else you
exactly.
don't win.
Yeah. But
And it
it
takes
was
the
more,
seniors being seniors. But like for me, the part of Western Michigan that sucks is that like I I wanted to win. I wanted to be a part of winning at that school, and like it takes
yeah,
everyone to win. And yeah, so no, you should be proud of that. And that one of my favorite nights ever at school was with the goalie. We're playing like a top 10 school, Ferris State, when Kunitz was
yeah.
there and everybody. And our goalie scored a goal. And man, what a party after.
Stuff like that. No, it's yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, just being just when you
Winning
win.
is the opposite of losing. It's like
Yeah,
when you lose and everybody had all these plans for Saturday night and what everybody wanted to do together, and then nobody wants to do anything. And then
no,
if you do need to sit around and chat, like you feel guilty that you're all
yeah,
together, but it's like, well, we got to do something.
yeah, exactly. No, and yeah, it just takes the pressure off the whole. You just feel like you can let loose and have fun with the guys, and especially when a winning's attached to it, it just makes it that much better. So
Oh, yeah, winning is so different than losing. So anyways, what else do I got then? Cornell's sweet. So then why Vermont? Why did you go there? Because this is a curious one for me. In
yeah,
Vermont, you got you got Swedes, a Kazakhstanian, a Slovak, Finns, German, Latvian, Canadians, and Americans on a
yeah,
college team in the USA.
yeah. No, it was a very interesting experience for sure. That team. Um,
I've never seen that before. Like I've seen maybe a Finn or two or a Swede or two on an NCAA team, but for the
yeah,
most part, they were Canadians and Americans.
yeah. Yeah, and that was my experience too. I was super surprised, and just yeah, the amount of broken English that was going on in that room was, and
But
hockey players don't speak that well anyway, so it's like little.
well,
It was,
it's interesting, right? Because I the closest teams I was ever
and they were
on,
all
they're
yeah,
like from similar backgrounds. I don't know if it's similar, but like in Cardiff, we had Brits and we had a bunch of Canadians from not many of them were from big towns.
yeah,
And it was the closest team I was ever on. Then I think back on it and I go to Germany and win a championship there. And it was the imports were all from small town Canada for the most part, and Bavarian Germans. And I'm telling you, Shed guys are from certain pockets in the world, and it's just interesting to me.
no, it is, and that's a good point. Um,
I'm not
yeah,
saying Shed guys don't exist in all these other countries. I'm saying for a team to be close, for a team
yeah,
to really gel,
yeah.
there needs to be something that brings it all together. And when everybody's from different backgrounds, it's hard. I would think I don't know, to just totally jive all together as a
No,
team.
it's true. It didn't help too that they were all freshmen. They didn't. There were 11 of them, and I think there were 0 Canadians and 2 Americans.
You're telling me all of them they brought in were in one
Yeah,
class?
European, and then there was like then that cut that there was a Latvian as a sophomore that year. That was my first year, and just it was just hard to like communicate with them, obviously. So some of them were like did high school or something in the States, so they were a little better, but yeah, no, it, it was just and plus we weren't very good, so
Right. I saw that too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so the
I think
whole
your leading scorer had like 16 points. That's not
yeah,
many. That's not a lot.
no, horrible. Like
You guys must not have got any power plays that year.
no, I mean, well, see, yeah, I don't even know what the issue was. Like we were actually pretty good defensively, I want to say. That's easy to say though. I don't know. Like we
Right.
lost a lot of both games. We just couldn't score, as you saw on the stat line.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you can't score, you
It's hard
can't
to
win.
win.
Yeah, but back to the European versus like a lot of them are really good dudes, and you could see the evolution of them now. Like when I've just left, some of them are just so much more comfortable, and like once you're in university, it it speeds you up pretty quick to just like being a college kid in
Well,
America.
and like for me, I'm not saying you a team shouldn't have players from all different countries. I'm saying that there can be too much of it. That you
Yeah,
can that
yeah,
you need to have somewhat of a base, and
yeah,
then and then break the other parts,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't necessarily think that was the issue with like Vermont or with that team that year. I mean, it was more just we didn't have good hockey players. Like that was,
I get you. Yep.
but no, that is a good point. And you can see now, like them, I guess they're juniors this year. A lot of those European guys who were freshmen when I was coming in there, and they're just so much more like, I don't want to say Americanized, but they're like
Comfortable.
they're comfortable and they can obviously communicate way better, and it's just a whole different scene. It didn't help they brought them all in together because
Right.
it was
But
just
I always
crazy.
say happy hockey players play better.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and being comfortable in a place would make it a lot easier. It was like my first year in Germany. I wasn't that comfortable until near the end of the year, which things got better at the end
yeah,
of the year. And then the next year when I'm going back to something I know and I understand the country and what I'm going into and where I'm going and what I'm doing,
yeah,
um, then you can play a lot better because all the
100%.
other stuff's not out of the way, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
So what'd you take in Vermont if you already graduated Cornell?
My master's in plant and soil science, so just a continuation of my undergrad, but a master's in the
So
same kind of.
you're gonna be growing the best Honey Crisp apples around then if you got your master's in this shit.
That's the plan. Yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely it was a way for me to keep playing hockey and while still like furthering what I'm doing here in the summer. So it was a perfect fit, and so that's kind of why I went to Vermont too. They were one of the only schools to offer a like that kind of degree, like as a master's student. And then my sister actually is still there currently doing the one who went to Princeton is doing her medical residency there. So I was like, I was just looking at schools and it was a good fit, and she was already there, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, so close to family and whatever. So,
Right. Yeah. And then yeah, you leave Vermont. Do you have a best night at Vermont?
I don't know about that.
Okay, that's okay. Well, so then after that, you go to Lordo in Greenville, and
Yeah,
I know you're gonna be his type of guy. I already know that. But the last time I was in Greenville was I had on Bryce Reddick when he was a player assistant coach for them last season. And then Tanner Eberly stopped by while we were chatting that day. So I'm not sure if he's back with your squad. I
yes,
think he is.
he's back. He's back.
Yeah. He seemed like a
Back.
dandy for the couple seconds I saw him on
Yeah,
here.
he's a really good dude. Good
Yeah.
Sasky boy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird where they all come from, right? But sunshine and hockey is what I wrote down is like happy hockey players play better. And I don't know
Yeah.
why you guys wouldn't play good when you get to live in like
Oh,
Greenville, right?
yeah. No, my whole kind of vibe changed once I got down there. Obviously, they were a good team when I got there, and it was like, wow, this is fun. We can win. There's people scoring goals. Like it was a huge change that way. The hockey was easier because like the guys I was playing with were way better. Like a lot of things just kind of clicked for me that way. And then you're living in like nice weather, and you go
Yeah.
like there's a pool right by the apartment complex where the team stayed. And then the guy, yeah, it was just everything was just dialed in, and
Yeah.
it made it to like it just made hockey fun. You wanted to go to the rink, and you wanted to
And that's what you
get
want.
there.
You want
Yeah,
to feel like you want to go to the rink. And
yeah. When you get to the point in a season where you don't want to go to the rink, you're scared of getting ripped on, but like
the
that's
season's over.
yeah,
It's
it's over.
um that's what happened at Western Michigan. And I'm not beating around the bush there. Guys didn't want to go to the rink. Nobody wanted to go to the rink. We had anxiety about going to sleep the night before workouts and running and skating, and nobody wanted to be a hockey player. And I think it makes me the coach I am now. I want people to think hockey's fun, and I want them to want to show up and play for me. And I think the coaches that were the best I had in my career, where I wanted to play for them, I wanted to give it that extra bit because they were good to me or whatever.
Yeah.
And you wanted to show up and be around all your buddies. And I think that's what hockey should be. But then I went to the AHL, and it was the same. I didn't want to be at the rink. It wasn't fun. I would go there and get bag skated, and I show up out of college and I'm not on a power play, and I'm the power play guy. And it was like, I don't really like this. I don't really want this isn't fun. And then it was
Yeah.
going to Germany and playing with these Bavarian fellas from Landshut, Germany, that changed my perception of hockey and pro and made me start loving hockey again. And it sounds like you're gonna have fun playing this year, and hopefully you guys can win her, because I like seeing shed guys do well. And if you and Lordo win this year, then I get to feel like I won too.
Sure.
You know,
Right on.
right?
Yeah.
And actually, I hope to see you in the AHL, because I've skated with you and I've seen you move and I've seen you shoot and I've seen you do all the drills and I've seen your dedication. I don't see you being in the coast for very long, but if you do want any help getting to Europe someday, let me know, because I might know a few people.
Sure. Sure. No, I thank you for those kind words. Appreciate it.
No,
Yeah.
seriously, when you get on ice with people and you know who comes to work and shows up, but I think that's who you are. That's how you're raised, is you work on the ice, but you work off the ice. And I saw it in the picture with the apple orchard, is like you do, you give her that. It's true though. Some
Yeah.
people know how to work and some people don't, you know?
That's true. Yeah, for sure. For
Well,
sure.
thanks for coming on and making the time. Sorry
Oh,
for keeping you up so late, you
no,
know?
no, it's a lot of fun chatting. So,
I think you're what's your nickname? Leahy? Okay.
uh, we'll miss, Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. I got a
So,
Bubbles in my life.
Mr. Mr. Leahy.
Yeah, yeah. Kevin Labatt
So
is
they
a
call,
Sugar King and a
uh,
Western Michigan Bronco.
so they call me like Jim sometimes, Jim Leahy, or they'll
Oh,
call
because
yeah,
of Lay. Yeah,
yeah,
I got you.
or Jumbo Joe. I got that a little bit, but it honestly has changed. I don't know. It always changes. Depends. I've gotten Laser before.
Laser. I like
Laser.
that. I like
Yeah,
that.
that
And this
was
has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Laser and Wally.